All right, let's talk about something that might just bend your mind a little bit. We're going to explore this wild idea. What if the world we see and feel is an illusion? And what if that very illusion is our best, most reliable path to figuring out what's actually true?
Okay, let's just dive right in. I want you to think about a simple question. The world you touch, is it real? I mean, the chair you're on, the phone in your hand. It feels solid, doesn't it? But what if I told you that the sensation of touch itself is maybe the most profound illusion of them all?
Now, this isn't science fiction. This is just basic physics. See, at the atomic level, the electrons in your fingertips and the electrons in, say, a table are repelling each other like crazy. You're not actually making contact. What you're feeling is the push of an electromagnetic force field. So you've literally never touched anything in your entire life. Wild, right? So this simple scientific fact creates this huge paradox, doesn't it? It challenges our most basic fundamental senses. Let's call this the illusion of touch. And this is going to be our starting point for questioning, well, pretty much everything. Now, let's be super clear. When we say illusion of touch, we're not saying the object isn't there. Of course it is. What we're saying is that the sensation we call touch is an interpretation. It's our brain's way of translating the interaction between invisible force fields. Our senses are giving us a representation of reality, not reality itself. It's really easy to hear all this and just jump to, okay, so nothing is real. Got it. But that's absolutely the wrong takeaway. This paradox doesn't mean reality is fake. What it does is force us to find a better tool to understand it. If our senses can be, let's say, misleading, then we have to turn to something more solid, pure logic.
Okay, so if our perception is an illusion, how can we trust anything at all? Well, here's the secret. The key isn't whether it's an illusion or not. The key is whether that illusion is consistent. And it's in those consistent patterns that we find all the clues to the real world. Let's use an analogy to make this a bit clearer. Think about the word water, right? The letters W-A-T-E-R are just symbols on a screen. The word itself isn't wet. You can't drink it. But it consistently and reliably points to the real thing, H2O, which will quench your thirst. Our perception is just like that word. It's a symbolic illusion, sure, but it's a functional one that points to a very objective reality.
And this right here, this quote just nails the point perfectly. This is the mistake we often make, to say that because the word water is just a dry symbol, that the substance of water must also be an illusion. Well, that's just a total fallacy.
So this is the really crucial point. When an illusion behaves with consistent, predictable rules, it's actually proving that it's connected to something real. Every single time you touch that table, you feel the same force. Every time you interact with water, it has the property of being wet. That consistency is our proof that there's an objective reality underneath it all.
And this is where the hero of our story comes in. If our sensory world is a consistent illusion, how in the world do we make sense of it? The answer is logic. Logic is the bridge that we build to connect our perceptions to the deeper truth that they represent. You know what? Let's stop using the word illusion. It's got too much baggage. Let's try a better word, an interface. Think about the icons on your computer desktop. The icon for a document isn't the document itself, right? It's just a symbol. But it lets you interact with all the complex code underneath. Our perception is our user interface for reality.
So how do we actually build this bridge of logic? Well, it's a process we do all day, every day without even thinking about it. First, we observe something. We notice it happens the same way every time. It's consistent. From that consistency, we figure out a logical rule. And through that rule, we can confirm that, yep, there's a real objective thing we're interacting with.
And this is why it all matters. This isn't just some fun philosophical game. This consistency has real-world tangible effects. If you choose to ignore the consistent rule that fire is hot, well, you're going to get burned. The consequences are real, predictable, and unavoidable. So the system itself has to be treated as real.
Now, whenever you start talking about relying on something as fundamental as logic, a common objection always pops up. People will say, well, isn't relying on logic just another kind of faith? A belief system you can't really prove? Let's tackle that one head on. This is such a classic reasoning trap. People try to frame logic as being just like faith. And the goal there is usually to knock logic off its pedestal and suggest that, all truth is subjective. But that comparison just completely falls apart when you look at it closely. So why isn't it faith? Well, because logic isn't a set of beliefs, it's a tool.
It's a method you can use to analyze the consistency of any system, whether that's a scientific theory, a philosophy, or even a system of faith. It just identifies the rules and consequences. A hammer isn't a belief, it's a tool for building. Logic is a tool for understanding.
Okay, so let's zoom back out and put all of these pieces together. This gives us a completely new lens to see our world through. And it's not about devaluing our experience, it's actually about appreciating it on a much, much deeper level.
And here it is. This is maybe the most powerful takeaway of this whole thing. The illusion isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's this beautiful, elegant, symbolic language that allows our limited minds to grasp and interact with an infinitely complex reality that we could probably never see directly. It isn't a lie, it's a translation. Ultimately, the value of our lives, what makes it all so precious, doesn't depend on whether our world is real or an illusion. What makes it precious is that it's a consistent system with real impacts, and that very consistency is what points us toward the existence of truth itself. So instead of being afraid of this idea, let's just embrace it. Welcome to the world of illusion, this grand, beautiful interface. And thankfully, we have the one tool that lets us navigate it, understand it, and appreciate it for what it truly is, that bridge of logic. And that leaves us with one last massive question to just chew on. Every user interface, by its very nature, is designed to connect us to something else, something deeper on the other side. So if our entire reality is an interface, what is it connecting us to? Think about that one.